Bonjour, Maddie. To answer your two questions, the first question I'm going to answer, my favorite gift for my birthday was the card. It was definitely my favorite gift. Two others, though. This recipe box from my sister. Like, how cute is this? It's got little oranges. It's so cute and vintage looking. And then the second thing, I'm going to grab it. So, is inside. This today's good mood is sponsored by coffee. I love this, Maddie. This was awesome. It's so soft. I love it. And the third thing, I know I said there were only two, but there are three things. Is this? I know you didn't like it, but as you know, I loved it, and Hannah got it for me for my birthday. Okay. Second question, you asked me if any of your ships are in my favorite ships. I love Hermione. I love Percabeth. I love, oh gosh, I just spaced, Olicity. I think those were the three main ones. I think you list off a few more that I definitely ship, but those were the three main ones I love. Those are the three main ones. So, my video for you today is the top 5 worst book to movie adaptations. I can't sit still. I don't like any of these books or these movies, but they did not do a good job of moving the book to the movie. And so, for number 5, my choice is Geek Charming. Now, the book Geek Charming and the movie are very, very different. They really are. The only thing that are similar is the overall broad plot. But there's a lot more drinking and parties, and the plot doesn't really move the same way, and they're actually in Hollywood in the book. They live in Hollywood. They don't. She lives in Beverly Hills. He lives in Hollywood. Whereas in the entire film was shot and based, they don't really say where it's based, but it was based in Canada. And so that puts a huge change. He's not trying to get into a film thing in Hollywood. It's not like this big thing to go to Hollywood, because they already are there. And the second thing is, they don't, spoiler alert, they don't end up together in the book, whereas they do in the movie. Now, I happen to like the movie a lot more than the book, because I thought the movie was really cute. I didn't think the book was incredibly well, I mean, the book is well written, but it's just not my personal taste. It's not the kind of things that I like in a book. And a lot of the reason I might not like the book that much is because I saw the movie first and loved the movie. Now, I did that in the movie as much as I liked the book. But that's different, because that was an amazing book. But we'll get to that one. Okay, so number 4 is Austenland. Austenland is, again, the same thing. They took an idea of something people loved and completely changed it to give them something that they thought they would love more. Now, again, I like the movie to Austenland more than the book, but not to the extremes of which I like Geek Charming. I really liked the book of Austenland. It was a good book. It was a great book. And I loved it equally up until the ending, and then I liked the ending of the movie more. I thought it was more romantic and cuter. In my personal point of view, it worked better. But the ending of the book is very cute. The way they developed the relationships between the three characters, I guess, in Austenland, a very different movie to book. But in the book, they did this really great part where she says, "You may address me by Jane," and then she realizes that in the time period in which they would be in Austenland, it would, to tell somebody that they could call you by their first name, is to say that you want to marry them. And that, I thought they got a lot of little hints that they missed in the movie that were great in the book. Okay, videos in a time frame, but oh well. Number 3 is a tie. 3 is If I Stay. 3 was If I Stay. Now, the thing about If I Stay is I think that they were both very good. And they both did a good job of doing something that the other one did not do. Specifically when Tommy, her little brother, dies. In the movie, they do a great job of showing the true pain that she's in when her brother dies. And they do it like they have her freak out and it messes up. But she learns that because she goes to a different hospital, which he does not. And I don't think that was as powerful as him not being in the room all of a sudden. Him just being gone and all these people crying. But in the book, they developed the relationship between her and her brother so much more intensely. It was so much better in the book in that sense, because you can really see that her brother loves her so much, and she loves her brother so much, and he was a great reason for her to keep going, and for him to be torn from her, that really gives her a reason to not want to keep going. I don't think that's in be with the world. Number 2 is, I can guess you know this, it is the Divergent series. I mean, God, could you choose? It was so bad, and they had such a good start. I mean, it wasn't perfect. It's not like it was spot on, but I mean, the second book, and remember we're all sitting there swearing at the movie in the middle of the theater because we could not believe what they had done with it. It was so weird. And then we rented the third movie, and we all just sat there going, I don't even know what's going on. They messed the whole thing up, and they had a good shot. It was just such a bad job when the second book came around. They had the chance to. It's, to me, an obvious, and I feel like to you it's an obvious, and to the world it is an obvious, and that is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Like, oh my God, it was terrible. I can understand, of course I can understand not casting a 12-year-old as Percy. I really can, because you can't expect that kind of sportsmanship out of a 12-year-old who can also act and looks just like Percy, and, you know, is the right height for Percy. So I can understand not choosing a 12-year-old for that. I can understand choosing a 16-year-old, or however old Logan Lerman was when he started. I think he was 17 when he started that. And basing everything around the age that you chose him for. But that's the only excusable thing I think that they did. They left out the entire plot. The entire plot. They made Annabeth a brunette who really, it didn't work. And I can also understand Grover was funny in the movie. He was great. He wasn't as awkward, which I thought was kind of cool, because Percy's awkward enough on his own. But it had nothing to do with the book, and the books were so good. And how hard would it have been to use the plot with older people? Because I don't think it would have been that hard. Keep them. Like, you can grow that sexual tension earlier, but just leave it, like, having them, like, wanting to be friends so that they don't go anywhere with it. And then the second movie was just a flop, because they tried to fix everything, and then Tyson was too smart, and they didn't do a very good job of fixing it. I remember watching it with my sister, and leaning over to her and going, and I was worried that they were going to have them kiss too early. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I will talk to you next time, and let me know which book to movie adaptation is your least favorite, if any of them are the ones on my list, or if you have your own. Okay? Au revoir, sister.